Alright. This is fucking an hour here from another video. This is just after I watched this video is just after watching the GSL group with Sue and Dear and Hero and DRG. And this was like, it was a really good GSL group, and it was mostly ZvPs. Last one was Sue versus, this is spoilers I guess, Sue versus a DRG. But then all the other ones were ZvPs, and I've been having like a fuck ton of trouble with ZvP lately, alright? This was a game played like 2 days before the GSL group, and this was a long ass fucking game, as you can see here. Hopefully the video doesn't lag because I put it at 60 FPS and I didn't downscale it from native resolution of 1080p. But this is a long ass game, and I didn't understand ZvP fuck all after watching this GSL group, because there was like so many things that I've never realized before. But this game, after I didn't really watch the replay beforehand. I'm about to open my Coke here for a second, sorry. But after watching this GSL group here, like, there were so many things that I have missed, that I've been struggling against Protoss lately, that I feel were addressed in this GSL group after watching it. This was fucking life-changing shit, or like metagaming changing shit that I wasn't aware of. So after playing this game, I thought to myself, I was so mad after playing this game. I was like, I lost because I fucking made like 12 swarm hosts at the end. Spoiler alert. And they all fucking did shit because I didn't micro them because my multitasking is shit. Like, it wasn't really a swarm host problem. The fact that I made swarm hosts that I lost, it was just, I made them and I forgot how to use them because I never fucking used them after they got changed and whatever. But anyways, that GSL group fucking changed everything. And it's not just that GSL group too. There are other like matches with like Solar versus Class. All these fucking Protoss players are the same shit to me. All right. Anyways, I opened my fucking hatch gas pool, and this is just standard. But after watching GSL group, fucking Sue does like not 3 hatch before pool, but he even did one game gasless, but he went like hatch, gas pool, yes. But then while he was getting his natural hatchery, he sent a drone out and made a 3rd hatchery, and he didn't even make the queens. Like, he made 1 queen, and then he added on the 2nd queen. So, added on the 2nd queen before, or after the placing of the 3rd hatch. Now, I get quick overlord speed, because I took this from Dark. And, you know, Dark loves to scout, and he even gets quick overlord speed to scout, even on, like, maps that you don't really need to, like a 2-player map where, or like, adjacent spawn 4-player maps where your overlord does get scouting. But anyways, I got my fucking scout, and I've been struggling a lot against fucking Stargate play, because let me tell you, fucking Phoenixes fly all over your shit, and then they kill all your shit, and you can't catch them. That's the biggest problem. You can't catch them. At least with a depth resonating glaive, you can catch them. You can. But this shit, you can't catch them. And there I see the Phoenix here. And then also, if they go to Stargate Phoenix, or they just have 1 Stargate Phoenix, but a lot of Phoenixes, and you get 1 Spore Crawler, they go around and lifting your shit. I'm like, alright. Everyone's like, get 2 Spore Crawlers. I'm like, okay. In some games, I get 2 Spore Crawlers. Every single fucking base. Guess what? They still fucking lift up. They just tank the Spore shots, and then they just kill your shit. But after thinking about it for a while, it's kind of fair, because at that point, they have, like, invested over 2k resources. So if they're expecting to kill, like, a couple of drones, then fucking whatever. But if they kill a lot more than that, then that's really bad. So I've lost a lot of fucking overlords already. I lost no drones so far, but I think that's like at least 3 overlords and a ling or something. I don't fucking know, because I extractor trick in the beginning. So anyways, I see this shit. I made 2 Spore Crawlers, right? You see 2 Spore Crawlers each fucking minute. Also, if you don't put them right beside your gas geyser like I do, and you put at first I put them like 1 here and one here, they actually come in and lift your drones, and they might even lift your queens. So you just gotta really be. First time I made 2 spore crawlers each base, that happened, and I still got lifted. All right, so this is cool. So after injecting, you also have to hold position on your queen so it doesn't fly forward. But I have so much to fucking talk about. But I guess this game's long enough. I didn't really pick this game because of what I wanted to talk about. I just picked this game because it was a long-ass fucking ZvP. And I lose a couple of drones here, honestly. It's honestly not that bad. Like, 5 drones for like 4 adepts. That's pretty good. And going right back to droning, that's what I want to see. Right? That's what I want to see. But you see, the income tab, it's in favor of me. But for a person who made 2 spore crawlers each base and made some links to defend, like these were too many links, right? They sent 4 adepts. I didn't need that many links. I needed like maybe like 12, probably like 12 links. Would have killed the adepts. The queens was there. The adepts were never in a position to kill everything, right? So if I had like 12 links, it would have been fine. And going back to drones, it's not the biggest of deals because I do make a lot of drones. The links run out on the map. I see someone like Ragnarok. I guess I should keep playing the video. I keep seeing Ragnarok. Okay, I'm just gonna pause. There's too much. I can't concentrate on everything. Okay, see Ragnarok. Ragnarok's like a fantastic player, but he for some reason he feels the need to have like 16 lings or 24 lings on the map at all times. It's like he literally puts himself behind by making a big giant fucking group of speedlings, and then he's on the same worker count as the Protoss because he made all the speedlings, and he tries to do damage with them. Like, I get it if you're like a fucking ladder hero or like fucking ladder warrior, where like most of the time it works, but against fucking I don't even know who it was. I think it was stats. I'm pretty sure it was stats. He's not gonna lose shit. All right, he lost like maybe like 1 or 2 probes or 3 probes. It was not justified by how many fucking lings he had to invest in. It was the fucking tremendous investment. Fucking absolutely tremendous. It was huge. It was fucking huge. All right. So anyways, I see this. There's 2 pylons warping. There's 4 adepts. And then the Phoenix aren't going to lift the lings. But even if the pylons aren't up, he can keep warping in shit. Like, I'm not going to cancel this base, right? So I have to back. I run up here, see if they're retarded. Because if they're retarded, they won't have a wall. They're not retarded. So, you know, I just try to get some shield damage and do something, right? Because I'm not relying on this damage. I lose a lot of lings here. You know, I thought, like, my goal was to get in, try to do some damage if they're retarded. Turns out I was retarded, and I lost a couple of lings. But behind that, I was making nothing but drones. I'm at 60 workers. They're at 40. I should be happy, right? Like, if you look at the fucking supplies right now, the army supply is like, they're higher than me, which is a good thing this early in the game. Because that, and I'm over them in supply. That's a good thing, because I have workers. You know, that's what I'm trying to do here. I'm gonna get fucking supply blocked like fucking crazy because I'm shit. But honestly, for someone who's not in fucking trying to like fucking playing this for fucking tournaments, fucking ladder game between 2 retards, it's alright. It's alright. I have 2 spores. They can't do shit, right? They can't do shit. They'll do shit. They'll do it. I mean, they have like 5 phoenixes. If they really want to lift 1 drone and not lose anything except shield damage, they'll do it. But as is, it's looking pretty okay right now, right? They can't really do much. They lift the fucking queen here. Like, do you see this? As a Zerg player, this is like fucking infuriating. I have 2 spores, and they went for the lift anyways. That just shows you how tenacious Protoss players are. If you fucking like forget the whole position, if you don't fucking like keep your shit together, you will lose. So right now, I have 58 drones. I forgot to drone a bit more. I should have droned a bit more, because this isn't fully saturated. This needs 2 more drones, and these gas geysers need more drones too. But as is, like, it's going pretty okay, right? And my vision, since I have Overlord speed, I pretty much scouted enough to survive. Like, there's no all-in that can come that will kill me. I have found out that when Protoss players go for like non-Stargate openings, like Resonating Glaives, or just maybe like 3 gate or 4 gate adept with like 12 adepts doing pressure and shit, that it's much easier as Zerg to deal with, because if they do that shit and they get a third base off of it, and to counter the adepts, you make what? Most people make what? Roaches, Ravagers, Lings, Hydras, whatever, right? Those are army units. They're gonna have lots of army units, and when the adept pressure doesn't kill the Zerg player, which it shouldn't, it's pressure. It's just a bunch of adepts. It can't kill roaches. When that fails, and they're trying to get a third base, if they fucking slip up and don't have enough sentries, and all they did was make adepts and send them out on the map to shade, adepts aren't good fighting units against like roaches or ravagers. That's why you see so many Zerg players. I just watched Sword of a couple hours ago. He did the same shit Ragnarok did, which is what? Make a shit ton of which is what DRG kind of did, was what? Make a shit ton of queens, walk them out on the map, push with a bunch of Ravagers and Speedlings, and try to kill your Protoss opponent, because those adepts aren't going to do shit against Ravagers and against Queens and against Roaches. Those fucking adepts are going to fucking sit there and die. But I feel like this is one of those things. DRG, I forgot to mention, I'm fucking trying to say like 5 things at once. DRG did a Nidus. It didn't work out because that was way too late. The hatch, it was more like the Queens and the fucking Ravager and the Ling is like technically it's a hatch tech push. So if you just make nothing but, like, if you do nothing but drones and get, like, no tech and do that push, then it's going to be fucking scary against someone who opened up the depths, right? Because those adepts aren't going to do shit against your push. You might as well just kill them. But if you go Stargate, then the Phoenixes can lift up the Hydras, the Ravagers, which is what happened to Ragnarok. I don't know who fucking was... Did I say stats? It was stats. Who fucking went Phoenixes against the Ravagers? The Queens off of creep are, like, struggling to, like, move their fat asses. And the Phoenixes just lift up the Ravagers and kill them. The Ravagers aren't armored units, but they're, I mean, which is pretty good, I guess. But still, they still die to Phoenixes. They have pretty low health compared to fucking other stuff. So I try to just, I mean, walk around the Phoenixes. Even though I have 2 spores in fucking pretty much every base. Like, if you don't try to chase the Phoenixes, they will like take those 5 seconds to find an angle to kill that 1 or 2 more drones. So I just make a shit ton of drones because I feel like I don't know what to do. In my games personally, my personal playstyle is I don't know what the fuck to do. So instead of sitting there and doing nothing, I replace those with decisions of making drones. I don't want to attack, alright? Because that's too much thought for me, okay? If I don't know what the fuck to do, I just want to make drones, alright? And they mine. That's simple, alright? Fucking making attacks and thinking about the consequences of said attacks. Or if I'm just a fucking cheeser and just fucking attacking with no consequences, no thought to consequences, whatever. But, you know, I want to make drones. I made drones. I'm a macro player. Fucking, I'm not saying I'm better, but I'm just fucking saying I just made drones because I don't know what the fuck to do, alright? So, they're sitting on 3 base. Alright. So, I want to talk about... So I just continue? I'm just going to continue with the replay, because I don't know how long I'm going to rant on for and when it's going to stop. But fucking, I watched Sue versus... Okay, they're trying to secure 4th base. Okay, I watched... It was fucking Hero versus Sue, alright? You know, I'm going to pause. There's too much shit to talk about. I'm going to pause. Fucking Sue versus Hero, alright? Sue went fucking 3 base decon, a bunch of early game shit, but they both were pretty much even. And he went quick 4 base. He didn't fully saturate the 4 base. He was like 75 drones. That's not 4 base saturation. Alright? That's like 8-10 drones on the minerals of your 4th gate, or on your 4th base, and you have those gases as well. But that's actually a good saturation amount, because you don't want to fully saturate it, because if you do, because as Legacy of the Void, your main mine's out. There's only 8 drones, not 16, and then your natural maybe has like 1 mineral patch gone. All right. So if you have like 10 drones, then those drones that bounce off of those depleted mineral patches can saturate your 4th base, which is good. So he did a lurker contain against Liquid, or not Liquid Hero anymore, but fucking that Hero. All right. Not CJ Hero, but the Hero he's not on Liquid anymore, so, and he just got fucked in GSL, so fuck him. Alright, so anyways, He did a lurker contain against Hero, and Hero tried to do warp prism to try to fuck with Zerg, to fuck up with the contain, and it failed, and he got smashed by Sue. All right, that match is over. Sue winners match against Dear. Sue does the exact same. He does the exact same shit. He does the exact same lurker, ling, hydra, contain. And Dear shits all over it. Alright? And it's not because, oh, fucking Dear's just a better player than Hero. Like, why? Like, why? This is why, alright? Alright, at least this is why I think it is, alright? Fucking Hero was trying to get a 4th base. Alright? Dear also... He didn't get a 4th base, but... Getting a 4th base, I feel, is the right decision, but it was more about the army composition. Hero went like your standard Protoss bullshit. He went Immortals, he went Stalkers. There's a couple Zealots, couple fucking Adepts, fucking whatever, right? But he had Immortals and he had Stalkers. It wasn't like the fucking Immortal charge lot, I'm gonna fucking ram my bullshit down your throat and you're gonna die. Alright? It wasn't that. It was like half-assed Stalker Immortal. And Stalker Immortal's alright. It's alright. You just need to know what you're doing with it, right? Dear fucking went Stalker, Disruptor. And the Disruptor and the Contain is that what I found out with Lurkers is I've been using them wrong. I've been using them fucking like D-Day style. What that means is like you fucking jump out of your fucking, the lurkers just uproot, they run at your enemy, they get fucking shot at, and then they're trying to burrow right in front of your enemy and they get shot, and then your lurkers might get 1 or 2 shots off, and then my lurkers die, because that's how I play them. They die, they suck dick, I fucking hate lurkers. But that's actually not, after watching so many games, that's not how people play lurkers. The most common lurker sort of aggression is actually a lurker contain, where you sit outside of their 4th base or sit near their 3rd base and you attack them. That's right. The most common, in my experience that I've seen, most common sort of lurker aggression is a fucking contain. If you've processed that in your mind for like 2 seconds, that means the most offensive position, most common offensive position a lurker player does is actually set up a fucking defense outside the Protoss's base. That means no fucking person in their right mind actually runs lurkers like I do into the Protoss. Actually, there are some people who do that, and they do it very situationally, where they do Hydra Den, upgrade straight to lurker den, they rush lurkers out, they only can afford 5 lurkers, and they run at their Protoss's like 3rd base right here and the siege up here, and then they shoot the buildings and they put on the pressure. But that's very situational, because if the Protoss player has the correct fucking whatever, they just run over your shit, right? But other than that, there's no sort of fucking lurker aggression, unless you want to lose all your lurkers like I do. So that's actually it. That's why you see so many of these fucking games where Protosses are on 6 bases and Zergs are contained on 4 bases, because their lurkers are being contained. They're fucking it's ironic. It's like a mindfuck. It's like the lurker player tried to do a lurker contain, but because of their immobility, they're actually containing themselves to 4 bases, because they can't deal with fucking Warp Prism and Protoss army constantly having that fucking gun down their throat about to run over the lurkers. So, what I want to say, that the lurker contain is that Hero failed to break out of the lurker contain. Going back to the main fucking storyline. Hero didn't do it, alright? He did the same Warp Prism harass as Dear. They both did economic damage, alright? But the fact of the matter, at the end of the day, the fucking Dear sniped the lair. Alright, Hero didn't. I mean, they both got like 15 drone kills, and the Zerg player was at like, Sue was at like 50 something drones. It wasn't like the fucking 75 they started out with. It was like fucking 55 or 50. But Dear actually walked up to the Zerg's 3rd base and actually killed it. Now, why can't Hero do that? Is because he was contained and he had immortals and he did not have the right army composition while the fucking War Prism fuckery was going on. He did not have the position, or he didn't have the balls. Actually, I felt like he could have broke out of the contain. Even fucking Artosis said so. That you walk out, you break the contain, you force the Zerg player back. You either, when you're War Prism fucking them, they send all their Lings and Hydras, and then their Lurkers are burned, and you might kill all their Lurkers. That's if the Zerg player's shit. Alright. But if they move their entire force back, which is what Sue did, then Dear just runs up with disruptors and forces the contain out. Because the Lurkers are hard countered by disruptors. They do die to immortals, but they're not that hard countered because immortals have to run in range, they have to shoot. Disruptors, they just fucking shoot their balls and then you fucking get fucking teabagged by their balls and you lose the game and it sucks dick. So that was really the difference, is the army composition and how they played it. Because they both did the same War Prism drop harass. It was good. It fucked with the Zerg. It fucked with Sue. Yes, that's good. But what are you going to do with that? Hero kept trying to take a 4th base. It kept getting denied. And fucking Dear just went out. He did his shit. He killed like 3 hatcheries. And then he was fucking done. Alright, so let's go on with this recording. So, so you can see that any sort of aggression I try to take. Because I technically can be max right now. This person isn't max. This person's spending all their monies because they're fucking good macro. I'm fucking shit, so it didn't happen. But I cancel the 4th base, right? And they already don't have an observer. Apparently they don't have an observer. Let's go back to the shit tier games, right? They still have their Phoenix. I keep trying to run in the Lurkers. This is like a half-ass lurker. This is a half-ass lurker contain. I'm denying the 4th base. This is good. What am I trying to do here? I'm trying to get Hive. That's good. That's good. I know that I can't go Spire and try to do base trade like a fucking asshole. Because they have Phoenixes out and they have Stargate. They have 3 Stargates. Oh. I didn't know they had 3. I thought they only had 1 or 2. Oh, they're getting Fleet Beacon too? I guess they're going Tempest to fucking counter that shit. But if... I feel like that takes too long and you need a 4th base economy. If you're against a competent Zerg player and you're trying to tech to Tempests while trying to fight Lurkers and you only have like... Apparently this person has 2 Colossus. But say you only had 2 Disruptors and you were trying to tech the Tempests and trying to grab a 4th base off of that, then the Lurker contained person can just come and kill you, right? Because 2 Disruptors aren't enough to clear enough Lurkers out. Alright, if I was good, I'd just kill off this base. Alright, I'd send like some Lings, some Hydras, kill off this base, and use the Lurkers to fuck with his army. And the Tempests would never get out. But as is, I'm shit, he's shit, he got 2 Colossus, he's getting Tempests. I didn't deny the 4th base. And they're coming up here and killing my shit. Which is whatever, I'm maxed out. And I'm getting 6 Vipers, because I'm waiting for the Vipers for some reason. But really, I don't need the Vipers, alright? I can actually just run in with Lurkers and actually kill this shit. Because this is an open map. Like, look, even with these force fields, I can just run in and kill this shit. And I really didn't need to lose these hatcheries, even though I did for some reason, because I'm bad. And look, they lost a lot of their shit, right? Technically, if they're going Tempests, which they have, none of at the moment. They're about to have 2. And I can just remax on Ling Hydra, run up to them, and kill them. There's literally nothing they can do, right? If I just clear up this army. But I didn't. I didn't, alright? I had the Vipers. I could have done it. I didn't. I didn't know. I didn't know. I was bad, alright? I didn't scout. I didn't know as much as I do now. But I could have. I think I definitely could have ran up and killed them right now. Because they have no High Templar attack. They have Tempests. I have Ling Hydra and I have Lurkers. I think that's good enough. But I'm fucking stupid because all I do is want to make drones and I want to make bases because I don't know what the fuck's going on. And then that's that. But the game's not over yet. I'm still maxed, alright? I took 2 bases as loss, or 1 base died. And they're just fucking teching whatever. Actually, this Tempest tech is actually really fucking with their economy. They could have a lot more tempo without rushing the Tempest, because I don't think they needed them. But I definitely lost more than them. That's just because I'm bad. Getting my Viper sniped off there, but I got a blinding cloud and then ran in to do it, but instead I lost a bunch of shit. But still, I kill like most of their army. All they have are 3 Tempests, 5 Tempests, and they're making Adepts because all I have are Hydras. If I literally just regrouped and maxed out on Roach Hydra and maybe consumed a bit more energy for Abducts, they would die. Actually, if I ran in here with the lurkers and attacked this base would die. I don't even remember what happened. I think I did do that. Maybe I didn't. But if I just remaxed on, which I am, I'm making more lurkers. I still don't know about the Tempest, but if I knew about the Tempest, I wouldn't have made those lurkers. I would have just kept the Hydras. And I want to kill this, but as is, it didn't happen. I also want to talk about something else, but oh yeah, if you do go see the Disruptors, you engage them as Zerg differently than if you see the Immortals. If you see the Immortals and they're going hardcore Immortals, which in this game I didn't see, and I made more Lurkers. If I saw like more Archons, more Zealots, more Storm even, and more Immortals, then yes, make those additional Lurkers. Because Lurkers are good against the fucking Protoss players that want to shove their army down your throat with that fucking charge style, right? But if you don't see that, if you see Disruptors, then you don't do that. Disruptors, you tech up. Because the Lurkers are immobile, they get killed by the Disruptors. So if you want to see like all your other shit, if you see Disruptors and you don't know what the fuck to do against it because your Lurkers keep dying, you feel that Protoss is bullshit, you don't make Lurkers, you stay on Ling, Roach, Ravager even, and Hydra, okay? Okay, and then you have those units and you tech up to Hive, okay? And you don't necessarily go Broodlords or Ultras, you just get Hive, get Disruptors, get those 3/3 upgrades, because the way to kill Disruptors, because in that game where Deer shit all over Sue had a shit ton of lurkers, but if he had a lot of Ling Hydra and Roach, which there was a certain point in that game where he did have Ling Hydra and very few lurkers, and the Disruptors ran forward to shoot their balls. He actually lost a couple of Disruptors, and he lost a couple of Stalkers, and he lost his initial sentries as well. So it's better against Disruptors to stay low tech. Like, a lot of these aren't... It makes sense, because, like, in Heart of the Swarm, you make Tempest, and even in this game, you make Tempest. What is the counter to Tempest? Some people like to go Corruptors. Corruptors, I feel, are like a crutch unit, where, like, you need them, and they're cost inefficient. Kind of like Banelings against Terran Marines, right? If you split your Marines, like, you want to have Mass Ling versus Mass Marine, but if they have medevacs, the Marines don't die, so you need that burst damage. But the Banelings just cost so much. It's kind of like that. The Corruptors cost so much, but you kind of technically need them to kill, like, fucking carriers or some shit. But against Tempests, if you have Viper Abducts and low-tech Hydras and Lings to surround all the other bullshit on the ground, then that's good. Stay low-tech against these high-tech units, and that's how you get cost efficiency. Or at the very least, you just kill those units. You don't even need to be cost efficient. You just need to kill the fucking Protoss units, alright? Those Protoss units need to die. Because I have a personal problem, which is every time I make a giant army, and they have a giant army, and all of my shit dies, and none of their shit dies. If you have that same problem, it's kind of the same shit. Alright, so keep going on forward. This fucking High Templar now, and they're researching Storm. So, yeah, once again, I did that, and I have like a shit ton of 16 lurkers. So, I mean, at least they fucking ran into that shit, right? But if they've just poked and I burrowed before even shooting and they went backwards, I would have done nothing and I would have just lost a couple of units. So, that's a little bit of sound delay there for some reason. So, right now, I'm up 50 supply. Oh, yeah, also, very big important point. Exact same situation, Sue versus Deer. It was cross-map spawns on Ruins of Ceres. But on right here, like, Sue maxed out on Roach, Ravager, Hydra. And Deer went Charge Lock, Immortal, High Templar with Storm. No Archons, but High Templar with Storm. There was a couple of sentries as well. If you told me, as a Zerg player, how do you deal against a lot of Charge Lot, Immortal, and High Templar with Storm, as Zerg with Roach, Hydra, Ravager, I'd say you fucking get run the fuck over and you lose your shit. But in that specific situation, it was Sue attacked across map with Roach, Ravager, Hydra right when he was maxed. Right when he was maxed. What does that mean? What does that mean? That means Dear, guess what his supply was? His supply was not fucking Roach, Ravager, whatever. Alright, you max out with Charge Lot, High Templar with Storm and Immortals a lot later than Zerg, who maxes out on Roach, Ravager, or Hydra, because Zerg's OP for some reason, alright? So it was actually like 200 supply for the Zerg player, 150-ish supply, which is pretty high. As a Protoss player, because if you go Stalkers and you don't go Zealot heavy, then you maybe have like 120, 130 supply, but they did. They went fucking Charge Lot. It was 150 supply. So how did Sue win that fight? Well, there was that huge supply disparity, yes, also because he played the map, you know. Dear force fielded here and then had his Charge Lots run in to kill like one line of units, and Sue had his entire concave attacking the small against all these Charge Lots. So if you thin out the Charge Lots, yes. So it's not really about the composition, why I'm bringing this up at all. It's not just about the composition, but how you play that composition. It's not just about the lurkers and whatever, because I did have Ling Hydra lurker, and I could have denied this base, and I could have ran all over this army, but I just need to play it well. Alright? But I just didn't. It just didn't happen. It's not just about composition, it's about how you play that composition and utilize its capabilities to the maximum. So I do end up fucking denying this base. You see me here running up with lurkers? Oh yeah, this was the big point I also wanted to talk about. Every time someone does a lurker contain and they siege people's bases, they have like a long line of lurkers, alright? It was fucking both Sue versus Hero, and both Sue, when he was containing Deer, he did the same shit, alright? But it was when I went back to see a VOD, which was Solar versus Classic. It was Solar versus Classic. I fucking have a hard time remembering the Protoss players because they're all the same shit. Solar versus Classic, they had huge, tremendous lurker counts, alright? But the lurker contains and the pressures and the sieges weren't actually coming from the lurkers. I never actually realized that before, because the lurkers, they weren't attacking. There was at maximum 1 to 5 lurkers out of like maybe 20, maybe 16, maybe even 12, maybe even 10 lurkers. Only a small fraction of those lurkers are actually attacking. Well, what is attacking, you might ask? Well, what is attacking is this other fucking shit. This other shit. When you have a lurker contain, you say lurker contain, but half of the importance of that army is in lurkers. The other half is just as important, and it's the fucking, for lack of a better term, I'll just resort to the term that everyone else uses. It's the buffer. The buffer is the stuff that supports the lurkers. Every time you see someone break out of a fucking lurker contain, every time you see a Protoss break out of the lurker contain, because the buffer wasn't there, or the buffer died. It's just like in Wings of Liberty. When you had Broodlords and you had, I always got in the fucking, I had Infestors, I had Broodlords, I lost the game. It's why? It's because I did not protect the Broodlords. Well, what do you protect the Broodlords with? The buffer. You need the fucking Ling, Roach, or Hydra underneath the Broodlords, so then your Broodlords just don't get jumped and smashed upon. Every time you see someone break out of Lurk and Contain, it's because the buffer got stormed, they got overeager, they got stormed and they ran for it, or they died. Or they just died to the Immortals and the Charge Lots, whatever. And then the Lurkers are left to fend for themselves. This is the problem. Alright? That is not, it's a fucking problem, alright? It's a huge, tremendous problem that the fucking lurkers have when they're left without a buffer and they get run over and they die. So what actually sieges for a lurker contain is not the majority of the lurkers. At most, it's 1 or 2 or 3 lurkers, a small fraction. But what actually attacks, what actually kills the nexus, are the buffer units. For Soo, it was the buffer units. For Solar, it was the fucking buffer units. It was like a group of 10 hydras, a group of like 10 speedlings, and maybe a couple roaches, depending on whoever fucking plays the game, alright? It was the buffer that killed the nexus, alright? The nexi. The 4th base, the 3rd base, whatever have you. And it's okay for you to do that. Well, if you're the Protoss player, why can't you go like, if you're the Zerg player, why can't you go like, oh, well, if it's only fucking 10 hydras, why can't the Protoss player just... Because if you run into combat those units in turn are supported by the lurkers. So it's not just the buffer supporting the lurkers, it's also, when you do a lurker contain, the lurkers are supporting the buffer. You need one with the other. If you don't have one, it provides weakness for your fucking opponent to fucking shit all over your face. And no one wants to get shit all over their face. So what do? You protect your fucking units. Alright? You protect your fucking units with... The buffer is just as important as the lurkers. The lurkers may cost more. It might be called lurker contain. Protoss might complain lurkers are OP, but the lurkers are only half of the importance of the army. The other half of the importance is the buffer. All right. So right now in this game, I have a huge fucking bank. Fucking huge bank. A self-funded fucking bank. All right. And fucking Protoss doesn't have a 4th base. Rarely, they have minerals. They don't have a lot of gas. They're fucking going against us. Alright. You see this shit? If you don't have no hatcheries, I suggest like having better surface area to cover your hatcheries, or having queens to transfuse, because they'll actually do this shit and they'll snipe hatcheries. Did they snipe it? I think they did, but I went back to defend. But in this game, I have a huge bank. They only have minerals. They snipe the hatchery. I guess that's fucking whatever. Then shouldn't I just win the game? So how did this game go on for another fucking 22 minutes? I need a fucking drink here for a second. And I gave myself advice that I've learned, that I've said on stream when I've been fucking streaming my games, but I don't necessarily follow. If I'm in a good position, but I can't kill them, because let's face it, I have a lot of lurkers, but they have Tempests, right? They don't even have that many fucking ground units, and they have high Templar. I don't know where the Templar are here. I can't kill their army. I can't run in and abduct the Tempest into my Hydras, because they'll get feedback, and this is what will happen. And I can't just run in and siege their 4th without trying to outposition them or something, because they have Tempests that will shoot the lurkers and they will kill them. So if I'm in a dominant position but I can't close the game out, what are my options? And the options are what I've always told myself to do, is to expand, alright? Even though I'm on a huge economy and a huge bank and I can tech to whatever the fuck I want, and I'm getting ultras for some reason, because, you know, I'm fucking getting ultras and I'm getting more Vipers. I can just keep taking bases around the maps, putting tons and tons of spine crawlers, and even if I take cost inefficient trades to at least kill some of the fucking... If I run 3 Vipers in and get 2 abducts off, and they get feedback and killed, and I still get 2 Tempests out of that trade, it's a cost inefficient trade. But if I have bank behind it, like an infinite bank behind it, then it doesn't really matter, because eventually I'll be able to starve the Protoss player out, because they won't have enough shit to make. But I didn't do it this game. It's because I'm fucking scared. I didn't have creep spread for some reason. I can just drop an Overlord creep, put a hatchery, put a spore, put 2 spines, and then once it finishes and I transfer drones, I can always add in more, alright? You don't have to put in so many spore crawlers, right? If you see someone with 1 Stargate Phoenix, and they have 4 Phoenix, then 1 spore crawler in your base is fine. But if they keep adding in Phoenix, right, then you can add in spore crawlers. That makes sense, right? They get more units to harass, you get more defense to repel against that harass. So it's really actually makes a lot of sense. I just never thought of it because I'm fucking retarded. Alright? That's pretty basic. And all these spine crawlers, oh yeah. When the bases kill off, you might want to lift them up just so they don't take that fucking damage. And here's some damage. I sent some lurkers back to defend. I think I sent like 3 or something. Yeah, I fucking branch off 4. And I have ultras. Honestly, ultras against this shit is not the thing. What I needed, again, I didn't know this before, but what I needed against high-tech units are low-tech units. Units that cost less. Units that cost less that do the same job. It's kind of like fucking the real world, right? You have fucking entry-level jobs that don't require any sort of fucking brain power, then you fucking give them to people who are retarded, and you pay them less. So you need units that cost less but do the same job of killing their units. I just needed some lings to kill off this base, and they'd be stuck on fucking 3 base with fucking 4 effective mineral patches mining in each their fucking natural and their third, and they would die. But instead, I have all these high-tech units. I'm getting ultras. I have lurkers, and I'm fucking not defending because I'm multitask as shit. And I get all my shit stormed. You see right there? You see right there? I lost my... Let's go back and watch that, alright? The effectiveness of the lurker army is only as good as the lurkers. So I am always like a fucking all or nothing kind of guy. If I run in the lurkers, if I want the lurkers to do damage, I run them in and then they fucking die. Or I don't run them in hard enough and they don't do any damage. In this instance, I burrow them. I didn't burrow them like they don't attack. Like that one lurker shot once. And then my buffer all died, right? I could have slowly engaged this army, even losing this hatchery and not losing the buffer. Because the buffer, what I lost there in hydras and roaches, were much, much more costly than a single hatchery and a couple drones. Right? If I saw what was left of here, if I had a low-tech army of Ling, Roach, Hydra, and those lurkers, and not the ultralists that weren't even in the fight, I can just run and surround, and what do? They storm themselves. They can't do shit. But instead, I didn't do that, and I'm actually running on fairly low economy. I'm only mining off 1 base. They're mining off fucking... They still have mineral patches here, because they're fucking Protoss, and they mine slower, because Zerg saturates their base quicker. But effectively, I could have done a lot better. Alright? I just didn't know. I just didn't have the knowledge. These ultras were fucking shit. And these also didn't have upgrades. That's pretty funny. Oh yeah, look, these ultras. What? Why? I made so many ultra lists. This game was so easily won. I had a huge bank. I still have a huge bank. And I still have these ultra lists. What are these ultra lists doing? If I knew what I know now, I would have literally counterattacked with ultralists. I would have sent an like 3 ultralists, clear this out, and send the rest to attack this base. Because literally in this fight, they're doing nothing. There are 5 fucking Tempests, and there are 2 Immortals, and they're stormed to kill any sort of buffer. These ultralists are useless. They were the wrong choice. If I made low-tech units, like I said earlier, then I would have been able to clean up this army. As is, it didn't happen. It didn't happen. Alright, it just didn't happen. Actually, making Hydras would be probably a mistake. If I had a Spire, which I... How do you go with structures? T, right? I don't have Spire. If I made a Spire, I could have made Corruptors. I could have made Mutas to counterattack. Mutas! To kill a Tempest and bait out their Storm. Not even that. I could just kill their base. Killing this base was the most important thing to do. And having these Lurkers... Look, I'm maxed out. And I'm making more and more Hydras because they all get stormed. But the problem is I have too many high-tech units that aren't doing anything against fucking units, high-tech units of theirs that don't actually... They aren't actually hard to beat. There's a reason fucking Deer does not go this composition, right? It's a reason, even in Classic versus Solar, he had Tempest. he did go this composition. There's a reason Solar lost, and that was because they stayed on lurker tech, and they didn't have enough to combat what you need to as a Zerg player to combat this composition, and that was whatever. And I did eventually do the ultraless counterattack, but they had like DTs. I didn't have an overseer, and all my shit just died because they have immortals too. And they still have these Tempests shooting my base for some reason. And my bank is all gone because I made nothing but Hydras. And the Hydras are coming across the map and they're getting stormed. And this is terrible. I kinda wanted to save my ultras, but there was no saving them. If I just ran away, it would have been better. But as is, I'm losing a lot more than my Protoss counterpart. And I was ahead hugely in economy. I could have been ahead in army if I just... No, I wasn't ahead in army. We were the same in army. We were maxed. We were both like... I had a maxed army. They didn't need to have a maxed army, but their units cost a lot. So I could have been ahead in the army if I just killed it. I was ahead in economy. I could have used that economy to kill their units. It could have had those rallying Hydras just kill these Tempests instead of losing these bases and again and again. So this is just really sad, poor play by me. But I didn't know. I didn't know what I needed to do, and that was to have low-tech units and to prevent economy. Because if you don't have an economy, you can't produce. Looks like I lost a bunch of shit, but look, they don't have that many units, right? I have 24 drones. Actually, army supply, I'm ahead by a lot. But a lot of these, are on lurkers that have burrowed at my gold. And I'm not burrowing at my gold because I'm retarded. I'm burrowing at my gold because I realize they can't do anything. And I finally kill off all these Tempests. That's all it took. Just a couple of Adepts and some fucking Vipers. I mean, my rallying Hydras and a couple of Ducks from my Vipers. If I did that a lot sooner, I wouldn't need to lose this base. I forgot if I had this base or not. During the Tempest, when they were stationed here and I was fighting over here. But if I did, I didn't need to lose those bases. I could have had those bases. I could have kept having this huge economic advantage. But instead I squandered it all. Because I didn't know what I need to do. I tried to fucking take another base here. But then they had a DT following my shit. That was kind of pretty sad. But this is Runes of Ceres. It's not like I'll always have this, right? I'm abducting more. I'm trying to get whatever I can. They're about to storm the shit out of me. They don't even... This is like a small army, right? If I surrounded this with Lings, if I had like 50 Lings, 60 Lings, along with Hydras, this would all die. This would literally all die. If they just 5.1 surround sounded, this would all die. That's literally all it would take. They're fucking distance mining with probes. They're on one base economy. That didn't need to be here. If at that ultraless period, if I just... Ah, God, it's just so infuriating to see these things. But it's good to see these things for me because I know that it was doable. This shit was easy. I just needed to know what to do. I had Vipers. I think the Vipers are always a good choice. But I rallied Lings and they just all died. It was too late, right? It was too late. Did I lose here? No, this game went on for fucking 15 more minutes. Let's speed through, because I think I've exhausted all my fucking knowledge about the GSL groups. If it comes to me, then whatever. Let's just keep going. I abducted the High Templar and I get stormed to shit. If I just surrounded this with a lot more Lings, then this would have been easy, but instead... Also, yeah, a surround. The surround is huge. Even, like, the natural rallying was how I surrounded the rest of it. And I killed a lot of their stuff, right? This game is still, like, winnable. I'm still mining from a gold base, and I have these other bases. All I needed to do was keep establishing my economy. And I'm making more drones, which is the good part, but... right now, I have no tempo to deny these bases. Which I definitely could have done. If I borrowed a link here, but I don't think they made like a single fucking observer. No, they have a shit ton of observers. with their army. But if I just broed a lane here, then they wouldn't have actually taken this base. That was a pretty big mistake. Let's see what's happened to the rest. We're fucking broke. We're both broke. There's a DT harassing. I still didn't kill this DT. I could have taken this other base and been on at least 2 base economy, but instead I'm not. What's order making? He's making a nexus. He's establishing his economy, as he knows. And this guy was like ranked pretty high on Grandmasters on EU too, so. Let's just speed through the rest of this game. Remember, at the beginning of the game, all I thought was I lost this game because I made a shit ton of swarm hosts. But actually, this game was never even about the swarm hosts. Well, not yet anyways. Because there was a part where I think I squandered the rest of my economy. I could have taken 2 more bases. That was the correct play there. But instead, I just made other shit. I think I tried to abduct you or something. But these are some nice abducts, right? Even if I trade costs inefficiently, I'm still killing Protoss units. But yeah, if I take this base and take this base, I'm pretty sure that was the play there. Even Nidus Worm. A Nidus Worm would be good, just to defend and transfer those accordingly. Now, they're actually mining quite a bit. They're on 2 base economy. I'm also on 2 base economy. This is the gold, but gold's only, it's mining out too. But the golds have fewer mineral patches, so it's actually the same economy. You just mine it with less workers. Yeah, but really it's against having the proper army composition. And the proper army composition is only half the job. You need a proper army control. It's kind of like the lurkers and the buffer. It's like, it's 50-50. It's not just the army composition, it's the control. And I had shit control this game. Some of the army composition was good. The rest of it was shit, like the Ultralisks. I lost a lot of resources from that. That was like a winnable. That was where I needed to win. And I didn't even realize it while playing. They had a Zealot counterattack. This took me forever to defend. But I mean, the Spine Crawlers bought me time. But this base needs to be saturated. I need to saturate fucking everything and get more bases. Instead, I'm actually even, if not a bit behind, because this is running out, right? Yeah, this is running out. But I just needed a low... I'm still 50 supply ahead. And this is when I'm actually doing what I need to do, is have a low-tech economy, low-tech army, sorry, and have a huge economy and trade that way. Because the lurkers, they're good against this army composition now, but they weren't good before. Alright, I still have 5 lurkers. They're actually pretty good now, but they're taking bases here, and it's really immobile to defend other bases if I were to take them, which I didn't, by the way. But still, I don't need lurkers to beat this, right? There's no charge lot, Archon, Immortal. There's only Immortals and Storm. If I just surround this, then they lose. If I surround this, the best they can do is blink the Stalkers away, but I never did that. It was all about the army control. I didn't do that. Yeah, like right there, I'm getting everything stormed. I did some nice blinding cloud. But everything is just still getting stormed to like fucking everything. And I still kill most of it, right? A lot of my army's bruised. And I still kill most of it. I'm actually at this point where I've doubled their supply. And most of it is army supply. How the fuck did I lose? Oh yeah, I made the swarm host. Oh god, I made 6 swarm. If I just made Ling Roach Hydra and A moved around the map and killed their bases, they would have actually just lost. Yeah, so actually the swarm hosts were a pretty big deal, but still, I squandered a lot of the opportunities here. I made like swarm hosts here. How many swarm hosts did I have? I had fucking 12 swarm hosts. Alright, how much does a swarm host cost? It costs fucking 200, 100. So 12 times 200 is 2,400. 2,400, 1,200, 3,600 resources. Alright, that could have been a lot of Ling Roach Hydra. And I could have just killed the bases. But instead I fucking sent the Locusts there and they didn't do shit. Oh, that's pretty bad. Yeah, if, like, these stalkers, if I just had Ling Roach Hydra, but instead I actually have no Ling Roach Hydra. I had fucking Lings and a couple Roaches, and they all died. I shouldn't have even fought those stalkers there, right? And, oh god, let's just go in. That's why they were too far. That's really funny, actually. Yeah, but if I just secured these bases a lot sooner, then and I'm not even mining from this, then I would have had a lot more to work with. As now, like, supplies are even. Remember, I was 140 supply against, like, 70 a couple minutes ago. They just took bases around the map and they just mined from it. I mean, I don't have, like, huge expectations. This wasn't, like, a fucking GSL game. So, whatever. But a huge learning experience, definitely. Did they just blink up here? Yeah, they did. I tried to burrow lurkers here. But don't they just blink down here and snipe them off? Oh no, they just ran away. Alright. Yeah, but once again, I was chasing this with lurkers, right? If I just had Ling Roach Hydra, I could have fucking easily, like, defended this shit. So low tech army are a lot faster, and I could have definitely defended all of this shit. It's just I didn't do it, and then they just take a bunch of bases around the map. Oh yeah, another thing that I've sort of realized is that if your opponent just takes a bunch of bases around the map without you doing anything to stop them, and like at this point, like I can't stop this, right? There's like 3 cannons. If I sent a small counterattack, it would die. But that's like when that's what I feel like is when something I know is going wrong. Oh, they killed this base too. Wow, they lost a couple of stalkers there, but it's still over. That something is awfully wrong. Like, the only reason they can, like, just take a bunch of bases and put, like, whatever defense, and you can't, like, especially ZvT or like Terran, when they just put a bunch of planetaries around the map, that usually happens when you lose a lot of tempo and you can't stop them, right? If you had a huge maxed out army and you had an economy and you had static defense and you didn't need to defend so hard with your entire army, then these bases are easily killable. But the reason they're not is because, yeah. So these swarm hosts, they killed gateways apparently. Yeah, they didn't really do shit. I think I lost all of them here too. Yeah, I just burrowed them because I can't fucking multitask. I'm still ahead in supply here, but they kill all my swarm hosts. But yeah, it wasn't really about the swarm host choice. It was about I needed economy and low-tech army. Alright, you need the appropriate army, but that comes second. That comes after getting the appropriate economy. The economy should always come first. So here's where I could lose all the swarm hosts. Oh god! Yeah, but this game is pretty much over. Actually, the swarm hosts, if they were here, they would have actually done a lot more. And if they would kill off TIE Templar and kill off the cannons and kill probes. If I just moved them here and flew them in, yeah, that would have done a lot more. If I just sniped the I added enough to snipe the Nexus. I just didn't do it. Got a nice little fungal there. But, I mean, they're mining, I'm not. Yeah. I've been talking for, how long was this video? This was an hour. Holy shit. This was a one fucking hour. So, yeah, that GSL group, really fucking fantastic. The other matches, Solar versus fucking Classic, I highly recommend those games. And it's not all the games were like Lurker Contains and whatever. It was a lot of, and like the Ragnarok games, they weren't actually just these games. They were also a lot of early game shenanigans. A lot of speedlings running around for Ragnarok, especially. But even Sue and Solar against Classic, he opened 14-14 and like on Lerlac, and on Lerlac, like there's tons of shit you can do, right? Like the 20 drone Roach, or like the fucking 20 drone fucking lane drop with queens. Even Dark does it and he wins. Dark can do any fucking anything and he wins, alright? I fucking saw him do a 13-12 and he delayed his Baneley nest. against I forgot the Zerg he did it against. I think it was someone good. It wasn't Sue, but it was someone of that caliber. It wasn't Solar either. It was someone really good. Who else can there be? I don't fucking know. But he did it against a gasless Zerg player who did open gasless. And they delayed their baneliness, which is the whole point of a 13-12, and they still won. It's like, what the fuck? They didn't win off the 13-12, obviously. They were actually down 5 drones, but then they went mutas, and then they just somehow caught back up because their opponent went like 5 roaches that did fuck all when they already went gasless, had a bunch of queens and like 2 spines. Why did they feel the need to get 5 roaches? Who fucking knows? But apparently he just wins with whatever the fuck he wants. So that's all I want to say. So this has been like officially been 1 fucking hour, and I learned a lot from the GSL group, and I learned a lot from this game because I thought this game was just about fucking Swarm Host being shit. Evidently, it's fucking not. It's fucking not. So hopefully you learned something if you watch this in the fucking future or whatever, because it's a fucking 1 hour video. Most people wouldn't want to watch it, but I had fun making it, and I had a lot of fucking stuff learned from it. So yeah, that's it. Until